Hello and welcome to X11 Garage. Today something different. We're going to talk about race fuel and E10. There's been a lot of things in the press about it at the moment, changing over in the UK to E10. I know they've had it in California for a long time, and it has caused problems. And one of the major problems that I've seen on the internet is that with vehicles left for a long time, a couple of months, the E10 has ethanol in it, which is hygroscopic, which means it attracts water. So as the fuel evaporates, it leaves the ethanol and water in your fuel system, which obviously water in the fuel is not good for anybody. Now in California, they have hot weather, they don't get much moisture, so they still have problems, but it's not massive. They leave them for months and then it causes problems. I've watched Leno on his program complain that the ethanol has attracted a lot of water and has ruined a few motorcycles that he owns, especially carbureted ones. So with that in mind, he did a show about VP Racing Fuel. They do a stabilizer, which is a small bottle, probably about that big, and you put it in your fuel. It'll do up to 80 gallons, and it'll stop the ethanol attracting water. Got to remember that American gallons are smaller than UK gallon, so it's probably more like 50. But I went down a different route. I saw another program on YouTube where they've put fuel additive into their cars and bikes. So I thought I'd give it a go, mainly because the fuel in the UK is crap. Here in Wales, where we live, is very damp over the winter, so a lot of people park their bikes up and don't use them for 4 to 5 months, sometimes 6 months because of the bad weather, and the ethanol will absorb a lot of water. And my bike's 20 years old, and my wife has got a carburetor bike, so it'll kill a carburetor bike. It just corrodes all the brass and aluminium. So for that reason, I got this. Now this, as you can see, fuel, I ordered from Demon Tweaks. They are one of the suppliers of VP fuels, and they were very quick in the post. It's not cheap, it's 25 quid a can, and it only does 20 gallons, which does seem a lot. But if you say you've got a carb bike, an older bike like my wife's 2002 Phaser 1000, and you get water in the carbs and you have to clean the carbs and strip it down, the time and effort it takes, and if you need new jets, 25 quid is not that much. It will cost you that if you want to take it to a garage to have them clean your carbs through, at least 25 quid. So it is something that I am going to try over the winter period. I managed to get 2 different types. This is the first one. This is their Octanium. This is supposed to be not only an octane booster, but also it's got all these other additives in it that stops knocking. It's a lead stabilizer. It's also supposed to stabilize the ethanol to help prevent it from absorbing water, so you shouldn't get the problems. Now this one is the unleaded one. This is for road bikes with fuel injection systems, anything that's got a NOx sensor in it, catalytic converter, anything like that. And I've seen quite a few videos where they've put this in a bike, in a car, sorry, and they've put it on a dyno, and it's added 5 to 10 horsepower just by pouring it in the tank. That's not the main reason I got it. I got it because it has a lot of injector cleaners, fuel line cleaners. So my injectors are 20 years old, my X11. I've never had the injectors out of it. I've never stripped the fuel system, the tank. It's been running really well. So even though I live in Wales and it's very damp, I'm going to put this in and give it a go. And this one I've only noticed, only does 10 gallons. So it's a little bit expensive, but it's worth a try. If it saves the fuel system and saves the plugs coming up, then it's worth the money. Especially as E10 is supposed to be very hydroscopic, so you get a lot of crap in it. This other can, now this is their octane booster as well, but this is for race bikes, like bikes without catalytic converters, without knock sensors. So it's very good for older vehicles, older cars, older motorcycles. It has a same content, 10 gallons or 38 litres. It's got for cleaning, for the carbs and everything else in it. But this one's not recommended for fuel injected vehicles with knock sensors and that, because it can bugger up the sensor. But it'll be perfect for the wife's bike because it's a carb version with no catalytic converters. So it's 2002. So it's got the big claim that it ups the octane by 8 points. So it'll take 92 up to 100 octane in some cases. But like I said, the fuel in Britain isn't very good. So hopefully the weekend is going to be nice this weekend. This may be one of the last weekends we have before the winter and the bikes are parked up. So I'm going to stick some of this in it. Hope it keeps the ethanol from absorbing water, so when we park it up for the winter, it doesn't fill up with water and bugger up the carbs and the plugs, which it did last year. And I had to strip it down and clean it again, because she doesn't ride her bike as much as I ride mine. So we're going to give these a go, see if they work. If they do, I'll be doing another video on them, recommending them, how good it's gone. They do say that you notice an improvement in the running and acceleration and that. My wife doesn't ride like a loon, so she probably won't notice. But I will notice that if I leave it for 2 months and it starts straight away and there's no water in the fuel, that'll be the big improvement. That'll be the one we're looking for. Because the winter time in Wales is cold, usually very wet, damp. So the E10 fuel may absorb a lot of water. So if you've got a bike that's carbed or no fuel that's parked up for a long time, I would recommend getting something to stop the E10 absorbing the water. A few people have done tests on it, and the other thing is that when it says E10, 10% ethanol in the fuel, is not accurate. It's about as accurate as weather forecast. So sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's 8%. It can go as low as 4%, and it can go higher. So yeah, it's very unreliable, as the fuel has been in this country for a few years. So I would recommend something. I'm not recommending this because I've never used it before, but I thought I'd put a video up saying what I'm going to do, and in a couple of months' time, if I tell you the engine's all bunged up, the carbs aren't working, it was because of this, then I recommend not to use it for next year. We'll find something else. But it's got good recommendation in America, where they use it a lot, and they use it a lot in this country too. So let's give it a go and see what happens. And keep the wife happy, because it'll be, when are you going to clean my carbs? When are you going to get my bike ready? So, see you all later. Take care.